Howdy, folks. I'm Mark, and today I'm joined once again by Alex Castellanos. Alex, thank you for joining me for this short talk about video games.
Happy to be back.
Oh, absolutely. You are listening to Quick Play, so let's get right into it. We are now halfway through this decade of the 2020s. Can you believe it? And so throughout this year is that we're running a little series, or I ask each of my guests, hey, what's your game of the decade? Which is a silly question because it's half the decade. So the question is, what's your game of the decade so far? And that works as a nice way to just talk about games we want to talk about that came out this year, take stock of video games in the 2020s, and just, have a good time talking about video games. That's what we're here for. So, Alex, what has been your game of the decade so far?
So I think so far the game of the decade that I have is Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero is the full title.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. We were talking a little bit about this. I've got no idea what these Trails games are. I've seen the names. They each they keep changing the name on me. I don't know what's going on. Before I even ask you about, let me see, Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak. Is that the right one? Did I find it?
No, that's a different one. But it's great. That should be great as
well.
well.
Else came out 2022. What was the one you said? I'm sorry.
Trails from Zero is the one that I'm bringing to you today.
There's so many of these. There's too many Trails. What is the Trail series? Like, I'm so lost.
Yeah. Okay. So,
give me a trail map.
The trail. Yeah, I'll do my best. I'm not going to claim to be the biggest Trails fan in the world, but I will do my best to explain as much as I can in a short amount of time. So, the Legend of Heroes games was its own series that came from an even older series called Dragon Slayer back in the 80s.
Okay.
And the Legend of Heroes spun off of that. And then these Trails games is like a further spin-off of that. Legend of Heroes 6 was called Trails in the Sky.
Okay.
And then Trails in the Sky spawned a sequel called Trails in the Sky Second Chapter. And then Trails in the Sky the third. And so it became its own sub-series. And then the fourth game in that series was Trails from Zero. And it came out in 2010 for the PSP in Japan.
Okay, nice.
But wasn't localized in America until 2022. So I'll use that loophole to say that is one of the best games of the decade so far.
Excellent. Very nice. So it's been kind of this ladder of names, of series names over time, where now we're on these trails of games. This is also a very dumb question. The Tales of that series has nothing to do with this. That's just also a different name?
That series has a very similar name.
Okay.
But aside from that, nothing. Yeah, it's totally different company, different series of games.
Whenever I hear these
games,
games,
sound similar in English and not in Japanese.
Probably so. Yeah, they just all go into this same soup in my mind of JRPGs that you got your Bravelies, you got your Finals, you got your Trails, you got your Tales. Like everything's that you had.
Exactly.
All these different names. So Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. To you, what is it about?
So, Trails from Zero, what I'll say is Trails in the Sky was a trilogy of games that starred the same characters. And then Trails from Zero and its sequel, Trails to Azure, is a separate duology of games that has its own cast. But they are both set in the same world. And all the Trails games, one of its hallmarks is that each game is set in the same continent of Zemuria, and there's countries within and stories that are taking place within and throughout, political tensions that cross between games and between series, and it all runs simultaneously or relatively close, and it all coincides. So it's like the opposite of Final Fantasy, where people think Final Fantasy 16, do I have to play the other 15 to play this one? And everyone's no, it's an anthology, don't worry about it. Yeah. For this one, you must play. You must play almost all of them to understand what's going on the newest one. But this one, Trails from Zero, each new series kind of hopes to be a new onboard point. And so
Okay.
Trails from Zero is one of those. And it's in the city of Crossbell, which is a city state in between two countries that are at odds with each other, and it's caught
Okay.
in the middle. And there's been some sort of like non-aggression pact that took place, and that's allowed this little city state to kind of thrive and have
Okay.
money flow in and all kinds of things happen. So you are playing the part of Lloyd Bannings, who is a cop.
Okay.
He is part of the Crossbell Police Department, and they're starting a new division in the police called the Special Support Section, or the SSS. And you and your little crew are going about around the town, around the city, and the surrounding towns, trying to basically keep the reputation of the police department high because the reputation in recent past has been poor.
Okay.
Everyone thinks that cops are lazy and corrupt. So you're supposed to
Gotcha.
go around town helping people and increasing the reputation of the cops. And then, of course, things pop off.
Things escalate from there, as
Yes,
they're wont to
exactly.
do. Uh, well, nice. So, what do you like about it? What are the good things that are about this game?
For me, it's about the characters. Um,
Okay.
this wasn't the first Trails game that I played, but this one had a smaller cast than the previous ones I played. There are only really four main characters in the special support section, and there's a couple other side characters, but you really get to know the four characters, what they're about, what their motivations are, why they're in this section of the police department, why they're there, why they are trying to make the world around them a better place.
Okay.
And they're four well-intentioned, heroic people who are doing their best, and you really get a sense of who they are through this game. And I
Nice.
just love them. I love all four of them by the time the game is over.
Nice. Gameplay wise, it's turn based. Is it? I'm like looking at a screenshot, trying to figure out what's going on. Is there a grid with this, or is it
Yeah.
menu based?
So so like a typical turn-based RPG, when you start a battle, it takes you to a separate battle screen. You and um, your characters
Sure.
will have their position. You can kind of set up where they're going to be, who's going to be in the front, who's
Okay.
going to be on the back. Physical characters versus magic-based characters or whatever. And then there's the position of the enemy characters, and you'll see a large play field that you're playing on. It's grid
Yeah.
based. So basically, every attack you have has a range.
Okay.
You have to be within a certain range to even reach someone you're trying to attack.
Got it. Okay.
Or magic based attack might be able to go from one side of the field all the way to the other side.
Sure.
And so, yeah, but it's turn based. There's a turn order on screen, and what I like is that depending on the moves that you make or magic that you cast, or they have this other thing called crafts that's like another meter that's constantly building. You're getting more craft points, and then you can spend them on more powerful moves, and those things can affect the turn order, and so you can end up pushing people down the turn order so you can do more turns in a row. And on the turn order, you'll actually see they have um, things that are going to happen. So, I don't know, I forget what they call it, but it's like effects that'll happen on that turn.
Okay.
So on the next turn, whoever's turn it is might get a 10% health increase. So you want it to be one of your characters and not an enemy, because then the enemy
Sure.
will get the 10% health increase.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so things like that. You're constantly trying to manipulate the turn order and
Gotcha.
kill the bad guys as fast as possible.
Yes. All the puzzle aspect of it. Is that unique for this series, or is this kind of like common among JRPGs?
I think there are a few other
Okay.
RPGs that have done similar things. This combination of of things. It's pretty unique, I would
Okay.
say. Having the turn order aspect, having the play field and the spacing, it evolved over time. This game is still a lot of little chibi characters
Okay.
with a very strict grid based um, field to play in. In the later games, it's much more realized three dimensional worlds, and so the play fields just become like a area of effect
Got it.
that
Okay.
are a little more lenient. Could just be like a big bubble
Okay.
versus like a certain number of squares,
Sure.
But
Okay.
same idea.
Interesting. Um, anything you wish was like different about it? Like anything you don't like about this game?
Um, I I think the common complaint, and I would have to agree, is that a lot of these games start slow.
Okay.
They have a lot
Sure.
of things going on, and they want to take you on this journey where they want you to get to know the characters. They want you to get to
Hmm.
know what they're about. And so basically the first few hours you're playing, you're just doing a bunch of little fetch quests and you're helping neighbors, find their pets and things like this. All the typical
Okay.
tropey JRPG stuff.
Got it.
And yeah, it probably takes too long to get going before you really get to the meat of what the story is going to be about.
Okay. It.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like that ultimately works. Like you praise the characters and their motivations and their arc, and so that kind of it starts slow. But do you feel like it need to be this slow for you to get this invested, or is it just like it's just slow?
I think it's just a hurdle. I think for whoever's playing for the first time. I think a lot of what's
Got it.
grabbing players for the series is that after you've played one and it's hooked you in, you're kind of on board for a lot of the other games. So
Okay.
the slow start doesn't get you as much. And really the slowest start is on the first game of each series. So like the
Okay.
sequel to this game, Trails to Azure, kind of jumps right in.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
much quicker to get going. But it's because it's assuming that you know who all these people are.
Yeah.
And so they just gotta set up whatever the new scenario is the
Got
next
it.
game.
Nice. Okay. So kind of rounding it out here, what do you feel like makes it so special for like why is this your game of the decade?
It's gotta be the world, the lore. Just the way this whole series is one continuous story.
Mhm.
That's I find it really unique and really fascinating, and I like the story itself that it's telling. So it's a lot of fun in that way. This game in particular, the characters are special. I like Lloyd Banning's character. I just find him really cool. I wish I
Nice.
was Lloyd Banning's, but he's just a cool guy,
It's a great name.
and
He's
he
got this
wants,
cool arm
yeah, he
thing.
just
I like that.
yeah, he has
Yeah.
his Tonfaz that he fights with, and
Oh
he has
yeah.
he
Ton-
his older brother was a detective as well, and so he's trying to follow in his footsteps.
Oh, I love it. Man, Tonfas are underappreciated ninja weapon. We need more
Yeah,
Tonfa
yeah.
representation out there. Um, nice. So it's the world. Lloyd, you gotta love Lloyd. Anything else that's like this? This is why this is special.
If there's one, if there's a game that you can get into in this series, maybe it's like for me, the first game I played was Trails of Cold Steel,
Okay.
and that was a PlayStation 3 game that's gotten ported to PlayStation 4, I think, and that involved a group of high school kids, and it was some people call it Persona Light. It was trying to be more Persona like with relationships between the students, and you're constantly growing the bonds, and you're going on these class trips, and you're doing things. But if you can get tuned into what the story is about, and I think that'll suck you in for many more games. I have yet to
Nice.
tackle even half of them, but they're really good.
Nice. I was kind of looking these up as you're chatting about them. I think my brain is totally broken on these because for the longest time I kind of assumed and maybe there's a reason for this, but I thought Trails of Cold Steel was like train themed. And then I also thought Trails in the Sky was like airplane themed. And I don't know where I got that perception.
You're not too far off. I wouldn't know.
Really? Okay.
Trails of Cold Steel, you're riding around from town to town in trains.
Okay. I'm not crazy. That's great.
No, you're not. You're not crazy. And in Trails in the Sky, it was a lot of new technology at the time, including these flying vehicles. So all of that was very new at the time. So
okay,
there is some theming there.
Gotcha. I think I always thought Cold Steel was like steel trains, and then it's like, oh, like you dummy, it's a sword. Like of course it's a sword. It's not trains.
Right,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, it is trains.
Whole entendre. Yeah. It can be both, Mark.
Okay, good. I am so ignorant on this stuff. Thank you for coming to my level and explaining this to me. I love to hear.
Sure, I'm sure I did a horrible explanation. And there's
no, it was
probably
great.
Better people in the Backlog Breakdown Discord that could have explained that, but
no,
that's what I have.
But this was your game. You're here to give it.
That's right.
Well, ultimately, in 2030, do you think this will still be your game of the decade, or do you think something else will supplant it?
If it's not this, it's because I've played one of its sequels, and that has supplanted it. Who knows? It could be anything, I suppose. But for now, that's the way I find this series to be head and shoulders above others I've played. So
nice. That's great.
That's the way I see it right now.
Cool. Well, I mean, we were talking about this. You mentioned you play a lot of older games. Do you have any other game that's like a personal game of the decade for you? Like you played it this year, or played it this decade, but it came out before 2020.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I played Trails of Cold Steel just a couple years ago, and technically that came out before 2020. The other game maybe I can talk about is real quick is Marvel's Midnight Suns. That did come out in the last few years, but it was a game by Firaxis, another strategy RPG style game. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was scared of the cards. It's a card-based system, so I was scared of that, of course. But it won me over. The story was good enough to win me over on that.
Nice.
It's also familiar Marvel characters. So.
Yes. Yeah, I love Marvel stuff, so I had my eye on this, even though I'm not like the card-based, the turn-based, I'm usually not into. I love Marvel that much, and so I got it through Epic. I've got it loaded on my Steam Deck. I'm going to try it pretty soon, I think. So
give it a try. Yeah, it's fun.
Cool. Yeah. It's good to hear the push for recommendation.
Nice.
Well, our time is here short, but before we go, what is one hope that you have for the rest of the decade?
Oh, one hope.
It could be anything.
Anything. That I guess, now that I have Silksong, I don't know what else I'm hoping for.
I was hoping for Silksong. It has returned. It's come to me.
Yeah. I guess to stay on theme, I would love to see this Trail series grow in the next few years.
Yeah.
They have Trails in the Sky first chapter coming out as of recording in a matter of days, and it's the first game in the series remake. So hopefully that gets a lot of people on board who were scared to jump on prior. So
nice.
That'd be interesting.
Well, good. Well, hopefully this podcast does a little bit of work in pushing that hope forward. Well, Alex, before we go, we got one last question. What are you playing?
I'm playing Hollow Knight Silksong, like I said in the last one. That's all I'm playing right now. I get to play about 2 or 3 hours a weekend, and that's as far as I've got. Yeah,
no, that's great. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll make a promise by the time this comes out, I'll give Marvel Midnight Suns a little try. So I'll give it a go.
I love that.
Literally, I had it loaded on my Steam Deck, and then I got distracted. Like, I actually want to play Donkey Kong first, so I started that. But I can dabble, give it a whirl. Yeah. Well, Alex, thank you again for joining me. Where else are you out on the internet?
Really, if you're looking on Backlog Breakdown Discord, that's where I'll be. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter if you want, but that's about it.
Good stuff. You can also find you in the YouTube comments of Quick Play, where you're giving dropping great bombs. Yeah. Good.
Disagreeing basically with whatever you're talking about today, Mark.
No, if you disagreed, it's so gracious. It's like, oh man, it's like such great nuance. I didn't think of that. You did figure out the time signature of, I forgot the name of it. What's the Mario Kart track? That's the
Oh
underground
yeah,
one.
yeah. I
It's
hadn't heard it, but then I was so interested. I went and listened to
yeah,
it because you were playing a little piece of it. It was great. I liked it. I can't
yeah.
remember what it is now, but yeah.
Man, it's gonna come to me once we end. But like, I was so convinced it was in like, oh, this is probably in like 5/4 or 7/4, and it's like, no, it's in 4/4. It's just syncopated. It's like, man,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just
Using
syncopated.
like 16th notes or something like that, but then
Yeah,
accenting on various notes. Yeah.
yes. Well, we'll see you there. Enjoy. Thank you for all the comments and kind encouragement as you listen and engage. Well, thank you all also for listening in. You can follow us on the major podcasting services or on YouTube, where you can leave a nice comment. You can press all the good buttons if you enjoyed this conversation. You can also find us on the proper socials at Quick Play Pod, and let us know, is Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero? Did I get it right? Sweet. Okay,
You got
great.
it.
Is
You
that
got
the one? Is that the game of the decade? And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you. Bye.